video is called Common Factors and GCF. On the teacher side, I'm going to give you the definition of both of those terms. Common factors. When you have a common factor, it's a number that is a factor of two different numbers. So if you're looking at two separate numbers, like say 12 and 16, and you're looking for how they're the same in their factors, common ones are the ones that both of those numbers contain. And we're going to be doing two different methods to find out common factors. And a step up from there is GCF. That stands for greatest common factor. When you are comparing the two numbers and you have all the factors listed out, the one that is the greatest that you see in both sets is your greatest common factor. So go ahead and write these definitions down on the teacher side. Okay, so those are the two terms that I'm going to be saying a lot as we do the different strategies for finding common factors in GCF. And I'm just going to read you real quick two types of problems that you would need to find GCF, because you're probably thinking, where in the world would I even need this? Here's one that you might come across. There's a pet store that has goldfish and angelfish, and they have to be put into the fewest number of glass containers. Each container must contain the same number of fish, and each must contain all goldfish or all angelfish. So that's a type of problem that would need you to find out common factors in the GCF. Another example of when you would need to do GCF or common factors, it says, at day camp there were 56 girls and 42 boys. The campers need to be split into equal groups. Each has either all girls or all boys. What is the greatest number of campers each group can have? And you could figure that out doing common factors in GCF. So those are just two types of problems that these strategies I'm about to show you will work for. And you will encounter many more as we're practicing this. Alright, the first strategy we're going to use is something that requires you to use your T-charts and then a Venn diagram. So I'm going to draw it first for you so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is what we would use in order to do the T-charts and the Venn diagram in order to find common factors and in turn find the greatest common factor. Alright, let's say we're looking at the number 12 and the number 16. And we're trying to find common factors of the two numbers, and then we want to find the greatest common factor, which is going to help us later on with fractions. So I'm going to use my divisibility rules and find all the factors of 12 before I go any further. So I know that 1 goes into every number. 1 times 12 is 12. 2 will go into it because it's even, and 2 times 6 is 12. 3 will go into it because 1 plus 2 is 3, and 3 goes into 3. And then I know 3 times 4 is 12. And then I'd have my turnaround fact of 4 times 3, so I'm done with those factors. Then I move over here to 16. Still haven't used the Venn diagram yet. I've got 1 times 16. 2 goes into it because it's even, so 2 times 8. 3 will not go into it because 1 plus 6 is 7, and that's not divisible by 3. 4 goes into it because 4 times 4 is 16, and there is my mirror image fact. So I'm actually done with that one. Okay, so I've got the factors of each number using my divisibility rules. Now I'm going to look at the factors I see in both T-charts. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to highlight them, okay? I see a 1 over here. I see a 2 over here and over here. 3, I don't see a 3 over here. 4, I see a 4 over here as well, which I can highlight both of them because they only count once. 6, no 6s. 12, no 12s. And that are the only common factors I have. So my common factors, which go in the middle, are 1, 2, and 4. These are my common factors. They're the ones that are the same in both factor T-charts. So the other numbers I could just fill in on this side because these are different than the other one. That's how a Venn diagram works. These are the similarities and these are the differences. Okay, so I found my common factors. Now, to find my greatest common factor, All I have to do is look at the numbers in the middle, and whichever one's the biggest is the GCF. 1, 2, and 4, which one's the biggest? 4 is, so my GCF is 4. And that's how that strategy works. Let's look at the next strategy. This one requires you to use prime factorization. So we're going to do prime factorization for both of those numbers that we just did. So we're going to start with 12. All right, let's pick one way to make 12. 3 times 4. I could have done 2 times 6. Doesn't matter. I'm going to get to the same answer. I know that 3 is prime, so I'm done. 4 I can break down into 2 times 2. Then I know both 2's are primes, so I'm done. So my prime factorization here, and I'm going to write them in order. So 2, that's one of them, the other 2, and then the 3. And I know to put multiplication. I'm going to check it. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12, so that is my prime factorization. And that is for the number 12. Then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do the 16. I could do 2 times 8. 2's prime, so I'm done. 8 would be 2 times 4. 2's prime, so I'm done there. 4 breaks down into 2 times 2. Those are both prime. Nothing else to break down. Remember, prime numbers are the ones that are only divisible by themselves and 1. There's no other way to break them down. So I'm going to put these in order. I've got 2, 2, 2, and another 2. And that equals, let's make sure when we multiply, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16. The reason I wrote them up and down from each other is because I'm going to do some comparing here in a second. I'm now going to go through, and for every pair I see, I'm going to be circling them. Here is a 2 and a 2. Here's another 2 and 2. The 3 doesn't have a partner, and these 2's don't have another partner. So to find my GCF, I take the pairs and multiply them together. So there was a 2 and another 2, and 2 times 2 equals 4. So that is my GCF. And you can verify on the other page our GCF was 4, and it is on this as well. So that is how you're going to be doing the 2 different strategies for GCF. You get to pick whichever one you are most comfortable with.